Hey everyone, this is IEW with Mrs. Brown. I am Mrs. Brown, and I just wanted to come to you all today to talk a little bit about IEW SSSA and Fix It Grammar Book 1. That is a class that I teach. You can either teach or take the class either through me on OutSchool, or IEW directly offers that class for third through fifth grade students. So let me just kind of show you what that is. So IEW SSSA, I'm going to do a product review. I taught this the 2020 to 2021 school year, and I just wanted to kind of talk to you about the things that I thought went really well with this particular product if you're considering enrolling your student in IEW SSA and Fix It Grammar Book 1. So this is the, let me just share it now with you. This is what it looks like. And so it comes with all of this, both your IEW SSSA, which is the writing portion of what IEW provides, and then Fix It Grammar, which is the grammar portion of what IEW provides. So today I am going to be covering about 7 things that I really like about this particular curriculum, so that as you are trying to figure out what it is that you want to do, if you want to involve yourself in this curriculum or enroll your student in this class, you just have some information for me as a certified IEW instructor. I've been teaching IEW. I have lost the number of years now, 8 or 9 years. I taught it in my own home with my own students. I have 4. They are 10th to 9th, 8th, and 6th graders now. And I have taught hundreds of other people's students, both online and in co-ops here in my, in my actual area in Ohio where I live. So the first thing that I really like about this new product that just came out in 2020 from IEW is just the basic plus package. It's everything you need just in that one package. Obviously, they have like another package where it includes the TWSS, but everything you need for yourself and your student to take the class is provided in the package. So let's talk a little bit about what comes in the package. In the package, you would get your student packet and binder, and it comes in I'll show you mine. So everything comes in a big box that looks, let me just show you. This is my first time using StreamYard, so I'll need a little grace today. So you get a big box in the mail that looks upside down, that looks like this. And this will have all of the materials that your student will need to take the class, whether they take it directly through IEW or they come see me on OutSchool and take the class through OutSchool. All right, but let's talk about what's in that big box when you get it. So the first thing that you'll notice is you will get both the student and the teacher manual. So you'll have the student packet and the teacher manual. That's for the IEW SSS 1A. And so I'm only talking about year 1, 1A. You'll also have the option when you purchase to either get streaming or DVDs. And what I like about that is you get streaming forever. If you like the streaming option, it never expires. The con of that obviously is once you're done, and if you aren't going to use it again, then you can't really resell this particular product. So if for some reason you have like one student and that's it, and you're only going to use this one time, well, DVDs might not be a bad idea, because in the homeschool market, IEW does retain a pretty high resale value. You'll also get something called a portable walls for structure and style. It is simply a trifold that is a reference for your student, and it just allows the student to navigate all of the different stylistic techniques that they are going to learn throughout the entire 24 lessons. And it also allows them to see like mini posters of what those units teach. In addition, you will receive Fix It Grammar, both the teacher guide and the student consumable. So you really have everything you absolutely need when you purchase this package. So again, this is one thing I really, really like about IEW. I don't know about you, but I don't like to have to find, all kinds of different links and download all the different products. I just buy this one package and I have everything that I need and that my child needs to take the class. The second thing that I really like about IEW is that the students are going to have both experience with creative writing throughout the entire school year and report writing. So one thing I want to mention when I say the word units only, it basically corresponds with the structure. So you'll hear terms like structure and style. Structure is simply how your student organizes their thoughts before they write. And IEW has a tool called a keyword outline. It teaches the student how to take notes before they write any type of paper. And so unit means, okay, if we are writing if we're retelling a narrative story, this is how we organize our thoughts before we write. So that's a really, really nice thing about IEW is it's going to be creative writing and report writing. They'll learn how to organize their thoughts before they write. And they'll learn a lot of different stylistic techniques, which we'll talk about in a second. But let's talk about units so that you as a parent understand what your student is going to have an opportunity to be exposed to. So let me just I'm going to show you the sample that you can get online yourself, and I will drop the link here in a little bit. But if you were to go to the sample of what is covered in Unit A, the table of contents, you'll notice that the table of contents will speak in units. And so Unit 1 teaches your students simply, how do I write a keyword outline? How do you write a keyword outline? How do I take content that already comes available? And if I want to just summarize that content, summarize a paragraph or two that I'm reading, how do I do that? How do I take notes and then summarize it myself? Well, IEW will teach them that first. And so all of the student structure and style levels always start with Unit 1. And so this 1A is for reading levels. If your student is reading at a 3rd through 5th grade level, that's what that means, 3rd through 5th grade level. So Unit 1, they'll learn how to write a keyword outline. Unit 2 simply teaches your student how to take that keyword outline and turn their outline back into complete sentences. And they call that writing from notes. Those are the foundational skills that your student needs to know before they move on throughout the other units. Now, I don't know about you, but when I first started IEW, I did it through classical conversations. And for whatever reason, I totally missed that each unit corresponds with either creative writing or report writing and builds upon the next. So I was just probably trying to just get all the assignments done, and I didn't have a full understanding of how the units were in relationship with each other. So I love this part. So what you'll notice here is that all of the odd units, or you may not notice it, but I'm going to mention it. Unit 3, all the odd units, 3, 5, and 7, those are all creative writing units. And they all build upon the last unit. And I love that. I realize that now. I mean, I've obviously been doing IW for a long time now, but at first, I didn't get all of this as a parent. So I like to explain that right up front. So After they come out of Unit 2, they start creative writing and they retell narrative stories. And the nice thing about this particular unit is it teaches students to look at a story, a narrative, and to retell that in three parts, three paragraphs that include summarizing the characters in the setting. All stories have this. Summarizing the conflict and problem in the story, and then the third paragraph would be what's the climax and the resolution. So they learn the skill of taking notes and retelling a narrative story. They can obviously, IEW gives you the content, they give you the story. So it's nice. You don't, as a parent, you don't have to figure out, all right, I understand that this is how we do it. Now, what am I going to practice the skill on? Everything is there for you. Then you move into Unit 4, which is summarizing a reference. This begins the report writing journey with your student. So we move to the report writing side. Your student will be given sources that have too much information, and they have to learn how to summarize, S-O-M-E, summarize that reference. After that, they move back over to the creative writing trail, which is Unit 5, and they write from pictures. Now, this is the very first unit that the student does not get any content that are words. So there are no words here. There are three pictures, and that student, or all the students, are simply having to ask themselves questions in order to fill in the information that's going on in that particular picture. And those pictures are given to your student. And as you notice, each week, so there's 4 weeks where they get a chance to practice the skill of Unit 5, writing from pictures. And this was something that they built upon from Unit 3, because in Unit 3, they had to ask questions in order to fill in the details of their keyword outline. They hop back over to the report writing trail, and they go to Unit 6, which is summarizing multiple references. Now, in this particular unit, they are building upon Unit 4. And in Unit 4, we had one source that had too much information, and they had to figure out, well, how do I summarize that? How do I narrow it down to what's most important? Well, in Unit 6, this gets them a little bit closer to like actual report writing, where they have to use more than one source and write paragraphs about specific topics from multiple sources. So this is an excellent unit. I love this one because it really does give the students a great understanding of how to do that. And then our last journey, or the last journey in IEW SSS A, year 1, ends at Unit 7, inventive writing. Inventive writing is simply a blank page and a prompt. Now, this is the one that I have a lot of parents who they say this is not this unit itself, but like when they have written in the past and they've asked their student to write about something, it's tears and I don't know what to say. I'm not sure. Or they say something, they just have a few sentences and they're done. Or maybe they write a lot, but it doesn't make any sense. And so the nice thing about inventive writing with IEW, they've gone through 6 whole units before they get to a completely blank page and given a prompt where they can then learn how to use what they call brain questions to figure out what it is they want to say about a specific subject. So they pick their topics, and then they learn to stay on topic, to support that topic, and to make sure they have a strong conclusion sentence, which IEW calls a clincher. But it's a nice full writing program where your student will again get creative writing and report writing skills. So I absolutely love that aspect of IEW. And so I will say that the only thing that I have heard that parents have maybe not been happy about is, oh, I wish there was more poetry. and things of that nature. It's also, very structured. And so some parents, and again, very few parents, but some students are different kinds of learners, and they like something that gives their learner a little bit more space to write. So something like Brave Writer or other curriculums that are not as regimented. But if you like, something that covers creative writing and report writing, is very organized, I think you would really, really, really like IEW. Here's another thing I really love about IEW, speaking of it being organized. I like that the schedule is organized, not just for Fix It Grammar, but also for the IEW side. So I am going to show you, like, what does that mean? What do you mean that is organized, or the schedule is organized? Let me show you what every single lesson comes with. So if you were to go into a lesson, so this will be in your teacher guide, and it'll be in your student guide. This is the example of what's going to be in the teacher guide, and you can get this right from IEW. I'm actually just on their site right now. And so if you were to go into IEW right now and actually go look at their free samples, you could get this yourself. What I like about this is it shows your student what the goals are for that particular unit. It also, in that particular lesson, so the unit is 2, where they're writing from notes. The week is week 3, and the source is called The Bald Man and the Fly. Here are the goals, all the things they will learn. So they will, of course, continue to practice unit 1 and unit 2. Structural model. They will also learn how to add an ly adverb. We'll talk about style. That's another thing that I really love about IEW, is it doesn't just teach them how to organize their thoughts before they write. It also teaches them how to add stylistic techniques. In this case, they start with the ly adverb that the student adds to each paragraph. Now, in terms of an organized schedule, a suggested daily breakdown is given to you and your student every single week. So you're able to see, all right, well, if I'm going to kind of organize my week, what do my days look like? And IEW tells you, all right, every single day, day 1, watch part 1 of the video, create a title for your summary about scorpions, read and discuss The Bald Man and the Fly, write a keyword outline with the class. This is referring to the online video, either the streaming video or the DVD that goes with that lesson. And then test your keyword outline by retelling it with the partner. It also has here the Fix It Grammar portion. So what will the student do for Fix It Grammar that week? And so this is really nice that the both curriculums really kind of have a nice marriage with each other, and they both reflect the other. So very, very organized. You don't have to guess what the day looks like. Your student doesn't have to guess, what does my week look like? What should I be doing today? What should I be accomplishing? I love that. I love that part of IEW. If you are working on executive functioning skills with your student, like helping them to work on, how do I manage my time? How do I check off that I've gotten everything done? IEW makes it so easy for you to do that. I do want to also show you that in terms of setting expectations, another thing that's really nice about IEW is, in addition to having the video, I like that as a parent, because as a parent, especially if you have multiple kids, you can have a morning meeting or however you handle that with your student, and you can kind of set them off on what it is that they need to do. You can be in the room if they still need a little bit of your oversight. Obviously, at this age, they'll need a little bit more attention because it's their first time through IEW. But because you have the video support that walks them through the process, models the process, explains everything, you have a little bit more space as a parent to simply watch and be in earshot and eye shot of your student, but also maybe turn your attention to another student while your IEW SSS 1A student is watching the video. So I like that. As a parent, you also get board notes, so you know whatever is talked about on the video, whatever he's modeling on the board, you just get a quick snippet or sample of what that looks like. So if you didn't watch it yourself, 100%, at least you know what your student should have on their notes. And then, of course, IEW provides your student and in your teacher guide the source that they are going to be summarizing. Any handouts that are included, but my favorite part, and this comes with every single lesson, is a checklist. So not only do we have our days, our schedule, we also have at the end of the week a checklist that the student uses as they are writing their final draft that reminds them that I do these structural things. Is my name and date in the upper left-hand corner? Is my composition double spaced? Is my title centered? All of these things here. ly adverb, which is introduced. Do I have one of those? And did I underline it in my paragraph? And then for mechanics, did I make sure that capitalization is correct? My end marks and punctuation are correct. Complete sentences. Everything makes sense and correct spelling. I want to hop over and show you that not only is IEW organized on the SSS, the student structure and style side, it is also very organized on the fix-it grammar side. So again, there's no guesswork in what should I be doing? What should my work look like? How should I be spending my days? And so let me just show you a sample. Again, this sample is available to you for free on the IEW's site because they allow you to sample 3 weeks for free, like $0, absolutely free. And so you'll notice that on the Fix It Grammar side for book 1, they have a Learn It section and a Fix It section every single week. So Learn It, it's the new grammar concept that is discussed in class. Now, let me pause here and let you know that the video lesson does not include Fix It Grammar. If you take a class, like if you take a class through me, through Outschool, or if you were to take a class directly with IEW, that would be covered in the live class with the actual certified IEW instructor or registered or whatever level of certification they have. But it's still very, very laid out and organized. But I do want to just clarify that the video is not something that covers IEW, the Fix It Grammar side. So you're not going to be able to sit your student in front of the video and see that particular part modeled. That's something that happens if you take a live class through IEW or through me on Outschool. So this is what a Learn It section looks like. So this is week 1. The students are learning when do you indent. They're learning about nouns. They're learning about homophones, and they're also learning about end marks. And they talk about how every sentence needs to have some kind of end mark. The nice part of this, when I talk about the marriage between the two, is with Fix It Grammar, they get a chance to learn this in the context of editing a story. So they're kind of like editors for an author of a story called The Nose Tree. So it's really a very clever way. They're not sentences that they are editing that are random. The sentences are all a story, and they're 33 lessons, 4 sentences a week. They only work on 1 sentence a day. And what they do for Fix It, they're going to follow the process detailed on the previous page to complete the fixes this week. And so let me show you what that means. That means that every day they're going to read the sentence, look up the bolded word in a dictionary, decide which definition best fits the meaning of the word in this sentence, and then they're going to have a vocabulary section of their notebook. For day 1, they're going to read the instructions for the week. That will happen in the class with me, or it will happen in the class if you take your class through IEW directly. We'll read this sentence, you mark and fix the first passage. You want to day 2 through 4. You use the abbreviations at the top of the page along with the grammar cards to help you remember how to mark the passages. And then the students rewrite the 4 sentences that week, but they rewrite them with the fixes. Okay, and it gives them a couple of notes. Be sure to double space, do not copy the markings, just the stories, things of that nature. So what does the student page actually look like? It looks like this for week 1. The student will have a guide at the top of the page to remind them what should they do with every single sentence. Did you ever hear the story of the 3 poor soldiers? Well, you see, this is the bolded vocabulary word they have to look up. At this point, they're only looking for end marks. They need to add an end mark to every sentence. That would apply. They would only be labeling the nouns because that's the part of speech that they're focusing on this week. And obviously, we would select any homophones. So they get homophone practice as well. Now, what I do want to point out is that there are 4 vocabulary words for every single week that go along with these sentences. So vocabulary is fantastic. Let's look at what happens week 22, just so that you see the progression. Week 22, see here before it was just end marks and nouns. By week 22, they're marking end marks. They're labeling quotation marks. They are making sure that any apostrophes that are missing are added. They're also labeling nouns, articles, pronouns, who, which clauses, verbs, adjectives, ly adverbs, coordinating conjunctions, and they are underlining prepositions. So I love how the schedule is organized. They know how to navigate through all of the information, all of the curriculum, because IEW lays it out day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, both in Fix It Grammar and in the IEW side of the house. I talked about tons of vocabulary. I kind of hit on that, but I just wanted to mention that again. There's tons of vocabulary that your student is exposed to. So 33 weeks, 4 vocabulary words every week in Fix It Grammar. You do the math, lots of vocabulary, and again, in context. So I love that aspect. There's also vocabulary that is part of all of the IEW SSS video lessons. So your student is exposed to a ton of vocabulary words that they again will be able to be exposed to, and they'll basically fill their arsenal of vocabulary that year in a IEW class. Oh, let's see, what else did I want to mention before I went? Oh, 3 weeks free. You get to try 3 weeks for free. I love that. So again, you don't have to buy it and then decide you don't like it. So if you go, let's see if I can show you where you can try the 3 weeks for free of IEW. If you were to go to the IEW website, I'm going to go find it for you so that you can see where you try the 3 weeks for free, then I'll pop it on the screen. But the nice thing is you get to not only try the 3 weeks for free, you get to try the writing side for free, the Fix It Grammar, the IEW SSS, you get the teacher and the student samples, and you also get to see the first 3 weeks of the video lessons. So you'll have enough access to the content before you actually have to buy it that will allow you to know, I think I'm good to go to buy it now. I have enough information. All right, let me see if I can find it. Give me a quick second. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat section while I'm looking for the free. Oh yeah, so if you simply go to IEW.com, it's actually on their main website. So I'm going to drop that in the chat, in the comment section real quick, just so you have it. All right, so if you go there, oh, I can't put it there for now. Anyhow, if you go there, you are welcome to get those IEW resources for free. So let me just show that to you now. All right, so if you just go to IEW.com, you'll see, obviously there's a conference coming up in June. It's free. Check that out too. And there's also the great TWSS writing adventure coming up. So here are the three. Try 3 weeks for free. Oops. Here we go. If you click on that, hopefully it'll go. Yep, you can actually just try 3 free weeks of language arts instruction. And so just go here, go down, you'll get started. You'll either, if you have an IEW account, you just log in. If you don't, create an account. But you can get started here. And it'll tell you in this particular video how to unpack your lessons from IEW. So anyhow, you get to try 3 weeks for free. I think that's a fantastic thing that IEW offers because they want you to be happy. They want you to know that this is something you want to do with your students. You want your students to enjoy the experience. IEW wants you to enjoy the experience, to understand everything that IEW has to offer. So again, just kind of recapping before I go, we basically just talked about IEW SSS 1A and Fix It Grammar Book 1. That's all we talked about. The pros were that the Basic Plus package, it has everything that you need. One thing I didn't mention is that they do have literature suggestions as well. Again, in a live class, it's not going to go over the literature. But if you don't want to figure out, okay, now what are we going to read for literature this year? This can take care of all of your ELA. Okay, you could just actually use the literature suggestions that come with the table of contents. They have a very organized schedule. You don't have to, there's no guesswork in what you should do throughout the week. No guesswork at all. IEW lays it out really, really, really well. IEW creative and report writing is covered. So you are not, again, your student will absolutely have exposure to creative writing and report writing assignments. And they write like 23 papers. So lots of practice, lots and lots of practice. You get to have, your student has tons of vocabulary available to them. So you don't have to have like some side vocabulary, anything. Vocabulary covered, check it off. To double check that you really want this, you can try 3 weeks for free with IEW. I think that's great. And they have great customer service, by the way. So if you're ever not sure, like, okay, should I start here? I'm still confused about this particular piece. IEW has great customer service. You can either go to their website and chat with them live or call them. They're fantastic. One thing I didn't mention, which I think is a hidden gem, it's something that I think a lot of parents don't realize they have, but certainly please know they have student samples. Now, when you purchase the actual content, when you, part of your downloads that will be in your account will be student samples. So if you're like, well, let me see what a paper should look like for week 23 or week whatever, then your you can go into your account and see a student sample. And they're not perfect samples. I would say they're okay. But I think it's nice that IEW does provide them so you have at least some idea of what a finished sample writing looks like from an IEW student. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, you can always email me at, let me just put my email here. It's IEW with Mrs. Brown at gmail.com. So I'll just post that up there real quick. So if you have any questions, IEW with Mrs. Brown at gmail.com. I'm always, available. Shoot me an email. Let me know if you have any questions. You can obviously come visit me on OutSchool. I'll post that for you as well. So on OutSchool, I'll show you where my IEW SSS 1A and Fix It Grammar class are located. If you'd like to register your student, certainly go ahead and do that. Also, I'll be going live now that I have finally used StreamYard. I kind of know how it works now. Yeah, if you ever have any questions or you want to make sure that you are available for the live streams or you get notifications, go ahead and subscribe or hit the notification button so that you can get notifications when your student is, or when I'm going live, not when your student. I'm sitting here in OutSchool trying to just show you where the OutSchool class is. So let me just show you my class, and I'll drop the link in here for you too. So if you are interested in, if you get the free 3 weeks, you get all the free downloads, you take a look at the IEW SSS 1A and book 1, and you are, interested in that, go ahead and check out my class. I'd love to have your student. Let me just see. Let me just view the listing and show you. So if you come to OutSchool and check out all my classes, this is what you would see. You'll see a picture of the IEW SSS 1A, so you know that you're in the right class. And it covers IEW SSS 1A and Fix-It Grammar. So this is my class on OutSchool. So Mrs. Brown, this is where I am. I have 2 times that are available coming up in the 2021-2022 school year. I'll teach this on Tuesdays at 9:30 Eastern and on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. So if you all are, on the West Coast and you don't want to come to class at 6:30 in the morning, which I don't think anybody does, then you can check out the Wednesday class. I can't drop the link there, but you see the link there at the top. You just actually, if you look up OutSchool SSSA Fix-It Grammar, my class usually comes up. So I'll drop it in the notes for this live for you in case you do want to, check the class out, but that's what it looks like. Otherwise, it's been so nice being with you all here today. Again, drop me an email if you'd like. I'd love to answer any questions that you have, but I really love IEW SSS A and Fix-It Grammar Book 1. I think it really does a great job helping students to write and to practice the skill of editing somebody else's work with the whole goal of applying what they're learning on the editing side of the house through Fix-It Grammar, applying that to their own writing. So personally, I give IEW, let's see, out of 10 stars, I would say 9 stars out of a 10. I think it'd be nice to have a little bit of poetry involved and or a little bit more poetry involved. But I love the organization. I love the hidden gems that they have, like with the student samples. I love that they allow you to try it for free. They really do try to do an excellent job serving you as a parent that is involved in IEW. So anyhow, I will see you next time on the live stream. If you have any questions, I'll probably be live streaming about SSS 1B and Fix-It Grammar Book 3 next. And that is the 6th through 8th grade curriculum that IEW has available. Otherwise, I'll see you all next time. Take care.